video, I will be talking about what would happen if Logan Paul never went to Japan. Would KSI call him out to box, and would he mature and be a better person? This story is something I've been thinking about for a while, and I think I finally hit the nail on the head with this one. This is what if Logan Paul never went to Japan. Also, a lot of my videos aren't hitting the right people, so if you want to support and help me grow, please leave a like, comment any what if ideas, and subscribe to the channel. It's all free and you could always unsubscribe later. Enjoy the video. It was the beginning of 2018, and Logan Paul was ready to go on vacation to Japan. Logan and his friends were all really excited. They were ready to film a lot of content and meet new people. The sky was the limit. Now, obviously, in the original timeline, Logan went to Japan, went to the Suicide Forest, and the rest was history. But in this new world, things were a lot more different. A series of unfortunate events took place in the sense that it was very windy over in LA. It made it difficult for a plane to ride in these conditions. Therefore, the flight was delayed for a few hours. After many hours later, the flight was once again delayed, and then eventually cancelled due to strong winds. Logan checked his weather app and noticed that this kind of weather was going to be consistent, and believed that it was going to be downright impossible to travel to Japan right now. As a result, they decided to cancel all their plans of going to Japan and think of something else to do with their vacation. And just like that, the biggest controversy in internet history was simply avoided, thanks to some unfortunate weather. So the question immediately arises, without this, what happens to Logan Paul? Well, let me point out the obvious. Logan's personality doesn't change a bit. He is still arrogant, annoying, cringy, and over the top in everything that he is doing. He would make vlogs on the regular, showing off his lavish lifestyle and doing a bunch of stupid stunts. It's what you expect from this version of Logan Paul, and he wasn't going away anytime soon, because quite literally, nothing could stop him. Now, this lifestyle remained consistent, and you may not find it interesting. However, you may be wondering, what happens with his boxing career? Does KSI still call him out? Well, in this universe, KSI did still beat Joe Weller, and yes, he did decide to call out Jake Paul and Logan Paul to box him. This call out, like it did originally, blew up the internet, and everyone was awaiting a response from Jake and Logan. Logan decided to address the topic of discussion, and he came out and finally said that he declined JJ's offer to fight. And let me explain why. In the original universe, Logan's motivation to fight KSI was simply for redemption. He went through a tough controversy, and he thought that boxing was something that he hoped would help him climb out of the hole he dug for himself and earn everyone's respect as a result of being caught up in the internet fame. However, in this new world, he didn't need to earn anything. He didn't want to waste his time. He has so many fans around the world who already love him, he simply had to appeal to them. Therefore, Logan decided to step away from any boxing match, as did Jake, as he was actively avoiding to fight KSI. And since Logan decided not to fight him, neither of their boxing careers start. Now, this is huge for Jake, JJ, and Logan, because without boxing, they would be in completely different lives. But we're not here to talk about Jake or KSI and how this affects them. We're just here to talk about Logan. Therefore, like I said, nothing much has changed at all with Logan. Eat, sleep, vlog was his routine. But apparently, Logan's online presence has been becoming extremely plain. And that was something that Logan did notice with his content and himself. He was exhausted, as every single day he had to make sure something in his day was something worth documenting. It was taking a toll on him to record and upload all these videos. Granted, he was racking in a lot of cash like no tomorrow, but this guy was getting tired. As a result, he decided to take a 1-month break from vlogging, and he told his fans that this was his intention. Vlogging has become such a huge part of his life, and with all the work and noise getting in the way of having him actually being able to live his life, he needed some time to step away and relax. And with that being said, for about a month, Logan took a break. Little do you know, this break was going to change his life. It was the beginning of summer, and Logan wanted to go on vacation and make up for the time that he missed out on his vacation in the beginning of the year. After talking to his friends about where they should go, he landed on the UAE, more specifically Dubai. He's been there before, and he had a really fun time, but now he just wanted to go without any cameras or spotlight. He just wanted to have fun. So that's what they did. They got tickets, packed up, and actually got the chance to travel this time to Dubai. Logan was scrolling through social media, just seeing what's been going on. Apparently around this time, Jake Paul is in jail and KSI is ready to fight Adam Saleh, but a few seconds later, the sign to buckle up was on in the airplane. They finally landed in Dubai, and vacation has now begun. For a few days, Logan was heading out to restaurants, malls, sightseeing. He was living the dream. Until one day, he decided to rent out a few luxury cars for him and his friends for fun and drive down the streets of Dubai in the night with all the lights glistening. The people he invited were his manager and some random friend. Logan started driving, and he was having a lot of fun. He was finally at peace, and he was able to enjoy himself with no pressure. And just like classic Logan Paul, with him being relaxed naturally came overconfidence. As a result, he came across an empty road and began to drive faster. He was quickly leaving his friends behind in the dust. The empty road he was driving on was dark and an empty desert on both sides of the road. All he had was his headlights to see what was right in front of him. Logan felt more confident, so he began to drive faster and faster and faster until all of a sudden, Logan was driving so fast he ended up catching up to a car that was driving on the same road. And since everything was so quick, he wasn't able to react quick enough to slow down or even brake. He tried to floor it nonetheless and moved to the other lane quickly in hopes of taking over the car. And swiftly and luckily, he was able to switch to the other lane successfully, and Logan was in shock and was gracious. But his relief was short-lived, because as a result of being on the other lane for a second too long, a car driving towards him crashed into Logan head-on. It was like two bulls colliding. Both cars compressed so quickly, Logan hurled his head forward and pulled himself back thanks to his seatbelt, and slammed his head against the car seat so hard he knocked himself out unconscious. His friends who were driving with him catched up and rolled up to the car crash, and immediately called emergency authorities to help aid Logan and the other man who was involved with the crash, as he was knocked unconscious too. Minutes later, the ambulance came, picked up both injured individuals, and drove to the hospital. Logan's manager was sitting in the waiting room, stressed out of his mind. How could he have let this happen? He should have called him sooner, or maybe tried to catch up to him and let him know that what he was doing was dumb. And now whatever happened to him can be life-changing, and surely it was. The doctor walked out, and his manager quickly ran to her and asked what is wrong with Logan. She said that he suffered a severe case of spinal whiplash. Obviously, whiplash is caused when your head jolts forward and back extremely quickly, or vice versa. And since the neck is attached to your spine, it could cause severe pain in both areas. The doctor said that his injuries are long-lasting, and his back has become fragile. Even with the slightest bit of activity can initiate fatal consequences. Logan was lying down on his hospital bed, sleeping with a neck brace. His manager saw this and told the doctor that he understood. The doctor left and he broke down in tears. After a few days, Logan was finally out of the hospital. It looked like he lost a lot of weight quickly and he was pale. He was sitting on a wheelchair and he still had his neck brace on. Logan was quiet throughout this time. He didn't smile or say a word. Every second, he was simply replaying the moment he got into that crash. He went back to his hotel with his manager and entered Logan's room. He asked Logan if he wanted water and he said yes please very quietly. His manager scouted the room for anything and couldn't find any water. He told Logan that he's going to step out really quickly and grab a few bottles and come back. So he left and locked the door from the outside with his key card. Conveniently, Logan was right in front of the mirror. He stared into his own eyes and continued to replay the horrific moment in his head. He thought of multiple what-if scenarios and how he could have approached this differently, but it was all too late. Logan continued to stare at himself. His eyes started to water and he shed a tear from both eyes. What's next for Logan Paul at this point? Well, that's a story for another time.